it doesn't stop at politics. People think they don't like debates. They think they don't like debates. It has to do with taboos because with certain taboos, you might not be offensive. So then we can debate means I'm lame. That means I'm lame. And there was internal critique, and there they when you have taboos keeping you from debate, you attribute the internal critique to the position of the actual person you're debating, which is unfair. Then it's like you weren't using presupposition, and because debate doesn't care about taboo, it don't care. You get like you might say this is a weird argument. Like I don't know why you're bringing this. It's not relevant or something. So people think they don't like it. It's like that. Whether or not you like it doesn't regard how dialogue will eventually turn out, because even with taboos and not offending, it's still going to become political. Nobody can avoid it. Because presuppositions. You're allowed to presupposition. Semantics is useful as well. So certain things, like you can't, like the dumber we get, we think that a word is just off limits, like rhetoric. Pointing out that you're using rhetoric is not going to upend your position. It's not going to clarify. It's not going to do the points that you're trying to achieve with a debate, which makes it lame. And so because it's like I don't want to be seen in a circular argument, I don't want to concede to your argument because I don't like you. It's like, so I don't like you. Damn. So who's mean? You know. I don't know. I always feel like people are gonna think that if you open up, you're gonna be perceived as mean. But how do you even know that that's not what they appreciate? You know, it's kind of like, do you really have game? We always talk about having game or something. You have to have some certain kind of proof. But then why do you need credit? Then they're not like you need credit for rocking a position that nobody can see how you're coming with this position. Nobody can see how you're rocking it, but they might. And if they turn out to accept it, would you be proven true doubly, or would you be proven true like some crazy amount of times? Like you don't even know, like, because when it is a modality, then it's going to be affecting like geopolitical stuff, you know, the minerals, the money. It comes down to the minerals and the money. So there's even right reasons then to have a taboo. Because once it's established that you're not exposing anything by telling the truth, knowledge is something you don't even have to say it. When you know something, it's like the extent that you have to describe you don't know the thing, then I have to worry about you. That was a internal critique. I don't know if I feel like all like that. But I don't like it is what it is. If I have to say it is what it is at the end, and people still know that we don't like it is what it is, it's understandable if you don't like it is what it is. I don't know. I guess they're gonna start pushing everything is everything, just like they're pushing neurodivergence in the humanist, secular humanist art critique. I knew that word was going to end up being used for the grift. I'm not worried about the next COVID that they create in a laboratory. I'm worried about what they're trying to do to the English language. I don't know. The English language changes obviously if you there's a video that plays how every 200 years it sounds like or something, and they say the same sentence. So in the beginning, it's totally in, you don't know what the hell he just said, and then they go a few years later and later and later and later, and they keep saying the same sentence until it sounds like an English sentence. That shit is dope. I like that shit. They're not trying to sabotage. They do the same thing for German, which goes to my argument before that English was more like created like Bitcoin for mass adoption, and it was used by Greek and Latin influences that wanted to invade the British Isles, and the Germans were the target of that. So they brought them, like, it sounds like Bangladesh when you pronounce it Uganglish, like Bangladesh. So they suspected that it was one of their own languages, and it would be interesting to try to use it. Why not? And if you can't finish it because it was incomplete, then you can borrow from other words. If a new word for a meaning of something we don't have arises, you can always complete this language by borrowing. It's a language that can borrow is useful for those for reasons then, but we still don't know what the Greek and Latin use it for. And it's like, you know, it is a Germanic dialect. But if you trace back far enough, you're going to find out that there's maybe evidence that it's not wholly originating from the Germanic diaspora, from, you know, from what Bangladesh. So even my explanation doesn't make sense, because you would have to have lived amongst the people that spoke English during those times, and they maybe never heard of what I'm talking about, but it was pronounced Ugenglish, English, and English. There might be a couple others. It's just like, there just might be a few thousand, like there might be just like, it might be like Bantu languages or something. How many dialectics do you missed when you made this synopsis? Like there's, I don't know anything. Like I don't really like know much of anything though. And like, I'll tell you that so that whatever you do discover, I won't discouraging you from coming up with your own synopsis, because you're not going to know like a fraction either.